Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Campus Care Ed Talks. I, Sakshi Jain, uh, your host for the show, would like to welcome you all. Ed Talk is a platform where educators and leaders come on board and express their viewpoints related to education and society. Our topic for the discussion is how to build an empathetic relationship with students. And to express their viewpoints on the same, we have with us Ms. Priyanka Barara, Principal of Salwan Public School, Rajendra Nagar. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. And it's so good to have you here. Thank you so much for taking out your precious time with us.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you
ma'am,
so much.
yes, ma'am. To start off with the session, ma'am, I would like to put it across. The very first question to you is why do we need to see empathy more than sympathy in the classrooms?
First of all, I would like to say that sympathy and empathy are two very different things. Sympathy is where you are looking at someone who needs help, who needs certain kind of kindness and certain aid. Whereas when we talk about empathy, empathy is actually understanding a problem from the point of view where the problem has arisen. Say, just a small example, say I have to understand your viewpoint. So I actually have to see what you're going through, what your problem is, what your situation is, and what your point of view is, right? So when we do that, that is empathizing. Empathizing is getting to know where someone is coming from and then giving out solutions. A solution that may work for my mindset may not work for yours, but if I empathize, I understand your mindset and then offer you a solution, then I would be bringing you closer to the solution. But if I'm just giving a solution from my point of view and my own experience, it may not work. Therefore, empathy is extremely important especially when we talk about this future generation, we talk about grooming a generation that is able to solve problems, look at a larger worldview, get a global perspective. All that is completely possible only if we empathize. We talk about nurturing global citizens. How do we make global citizens out of someone who has not come out of a city, a small city in Delhi? They do not even probably know what is happening in their own country, in the southern region of the country, or in the extreme east or west of the country. But if we teach them to empathize and teach them to know, be good listeners to and analyze through that listening where that person is, where the where the issue is lying, only then we can talk about having a global perspective.
Absolutely.
Therefore, I feel therefore I feel empathy is very different from sympathy, and therefore empathy needs a much greater importance. Sympathy is a help. It's a help. It can only be a small time firefighting solution for somebody. But empathy is something that will last for a very, very long time.
Absolutely, ma'am. It's just like how well you can understand somebody and how then only you can relate to that. And that's how you can deal with that person or students in the class. So, ma'am,
So
why is building an empathetic relationship with students very important?
when we say teaching, is teaching something that we teach out of books? Is it only about facts? Is it only about certain things which Google can already give us? No. Teaching goes way beyond that. We say education is learning for life. How do we learn for life? We learn for life when we watch people doing what they are doing. Values are not taught, values are caught. And they can be caught when they are existent in a system. Therefore, the presence of empathy in our day to day transactions with our colleagues, with our students, with the school system, only then can we actually imbibe this culture of empathizing. Children always learn from how we conduct ourselves, not what we tell them. What we tell them, they listen for a while. If it works, it automatically comes. But if you really want something to go into the practice of the behavior of a child, you actually have to conduct yourself in that manner. Only then that value is imbibed in a manner that it stays with them.
Absolutely, ma'am. So what, I mean, how do you do that? So if you have to tell a teacher or, your staff out there, how do you tell them to have that empathetic relationship which will benefit the students as a whole?
As I said, telling doesn't work.
Okay,
I actually have, as a leader, have to emulate that.
right.
So my first principle is emulate the behavior that you want in your teachers. So as a practice, we all we all make an effort towards becoming good listeners. In our staff meetings, we create a culture where not just one person is speaking. We create an opportunity for everybody to speak, express, and then listen. If we do that as a practice, it automatically begins to show in our classrooms, in our classroom behavior. So telling is not enough in a particular system. It's what you want in your system that you have to do. If I want my teachers to be good listeners, first I need to become a good listener for my staff, a good listener to my students. This I am very confident and I have complete faith. It works. It may not show instant visibility, but it does have long term effects. And anything that has long term effects does show a great visibility.
Absolutely, ma'am. So, ma'am, how will it improve the whole learning process, if I may ask, since you've told us that, it's something that you have to imbibe and it's not that which comes in from, by telling people. So, how does it help and how does the entire system will improve?
See, a child spends 14 years in the school. It's not a small time. And these 14 years are the formative years, and these years actually leave lasting impressions in our mind on how we react to a given situation. So, bringing in empathy into our systems actually helps them create a mechanism within their systems so that they actually respond to a situation and not react. It's our response, and response is always thought over. It is always deliberated upon. It is always analyzed. So they do not react. They will not react. They will rather respond. And when we respond, we look at problems with a different perspective. We do not look at short term goals. We do not look for instant success and fame. Rather, we look at a larger good so that it works well for everybody. Therefore, creating these systems are definitely going to change the way we learn. And if we change the way we learn, we actually bring in a change in the method of how we teach, because these children are the creators of tomorrow. We look at them as inventors of tomorrow. They're going to be the thinkers for tomorrow. So if a process like that is imbibed in them, we look at them with hope. Therefore, it does change the way we educate. And education has to reflect in our behavior. Education has to reflect in our thought. It just does not have to only reflect in a mark sheet that will help us get into a college or a job for that matter.
Absolutely, ma'am. So, ma'am, is there, see, you've told, in ways, but can you just list down the ways that we can help, imbibe that in our culture and the education system?
Okay. When we start our day, right? We go into the classroom, a teacher has multiple things on her head. She must be carrying a baggage from her home because we all have personal lives as well. So, the very first thing is that we create a calming down session for everybody. So, when the teacher goes into the classroom, she actually does that exercise with the children, closing their eyes for a few minutes and just let the thoughts settle down. So during this process, while she's helping children calm down themselves, the teacher herself is also doing, right? Now, when the teacher is doing that, she's asking the students to follow a few steps. This automatically helps them come into a listening mode, right? That that calming down process is a great help. Secondly, we do not encourage the chalk and talk method to a great extent. because we see that the chalk and talk method does not have a very, very lasting effect on learning, and neither does it bring the skill of application that is required. Therefore, teachers create their lesson plans, they create their 35-minute plan that they have for various classes in a manner that it is divided into various slots where certain time is devoted to an interactive method where children are automatically given a space where they interact with each other and they learn from the peer, right? And then there is a section in that 40-minute period where an expression is given out where children express their ideas about what they have learned and then how they apply. So when we constantly follow this step by step method, it brings in the process of empathy into practice. Because listening, talking, it has to happen both ways. So our learner centric classrooms go a long way in imbibing these qualities in our children as well as our teachers.
Very well said, ma'am. Thank you so much for explaining it so well, ma'am. But to have a last question from your side is empathizing is good, but are there times when it isn't?
I don't think there is any time when it isn't good. Even when you're angry, even when you're upset, it helps to rationalize your thoughts, and it helps to helps you actually think of a process that will remove the problem rather than hide the problem. When you do not empathize with the situation, people try to hide the problems under the sheets, but that doesn't create great systems. We need to create great effective systems, and this only and only happens when we share our problems and we know that the other person is not going to shout at me, but rather see, listen, and then figure out a way that we do not repeat this issue again. There will be problems, there will be issues, there will be mistakes, but our focus should be on not repeating the mistake rather than not hiding the mistake.
Absolutely, ma'am. To just it all or to sum it up all, you have to have that understanding, you have to have that mindset wherein you are proactive in terms of your surroundings, as well as you're understanding what exactly is the need of the hour when it comes to children or people or peer groups around you. So, ma'am, is there any concluding line that you would like to share with us to have to have an ending for this?
A concluding line for all my dear students is that try to find joy in whatever you are doing and focus on those actions which you can own up. There can be peer pressure to do or to participate in certain actions, but then do reflect upon it. That will you be able to own it up in times to come? Because whatever is our history, whatever is our past, it never leaves us. So don't ever forget that. And also, I would urge all my fellow teachers to kindly and constantly promote the practice of reflective thinking. If we have aced on this practice of reflective thinking in our students, we have actually empowered them. We do not empower them with marks. We need to empower them with skills, skills that will stay for them with them for life. Because our futures depend on these children.
Absolutely, ma'am. To have a reflective thinking and a reflective way of life is, the ending note which ma'am has really focused on. And thank you so very much, ma'am, for sharing your knowledge and experience with us. It was indeed an insightful session from your side, and it was our immense pleasure to have you with us, ma'am.
Thank you.
Promise.
Thank you.
All right, promising to come up with more sessions like these. I would like to sign off, but before leaving, do subscribe our channel, share or like, and don't forget to hit the bell icon for more notifications. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Thank you.